Prashant. My question is that is there a free will or everything is predestined?
Acharya Parshant, why does he like to confuse people so much? So, in a one video I saw, there one college students they were asking questions with a simple questions like, is there a free will or everything is predestined? That means everything is fate, destiny, or we have a choice. So most often he doesn't answer quietly in a very direct way, but what he does is he asks the questioner itself. He asks the questioner, "Who are you?" First, know that. Okay, somewhere it is related, but he doesn't give a very clear answer because what he does is mixes everything together: science, philosophy, spirituality, without clearly separating them. This creates more confusion. Now, in I cannot describe his whole video, but I will give a short synopsis. What he does is he uses determinism, the cause and effect, to dismiss free will, but that doesn't explain what we make a choice on daily basis. There is cause effect in nature. Everything runs according to cause and effect, means they don't have free will. Animals, everything, they run on instincts. They either run or fight. They will survive and all this. They want to act something different out of their behavior, that we all know. So in nature everything is cause and effect. So if he says there is no free will because of the determinism, cause and effect, then I want to ask Acharya Prashant, the so-called Acharya, but if he has done IIT, then he switches to IIM, then he switches to IAS, he clear all those exams. But what make him clear those exams? What make him switch those things? Because he was going through cause and effect, first engineering, then management. Does it something like happened? Some magic happened? Some monkey came out of nature and sat on his window and told him, "Oh, you have to do IIM." No, he made a choice on daily basis. He wanted to prove something. He wanted to do something more better. So in next episode, in next this same video, he says that for everything, the free will, free choice, determinism, ego is to be blamed. Ego is for it is the reason for everything. So he says liberation of ego, dissolving the ego. These are illusory concepts. Then he says that we are the doership, karta, karam, to remove the doership and then remove the concepts also. That we have created concept for our simplicity in life to understand something. And then he says we have to realization, make realization. And then he says you are an observer. But it sounds deep, like it is very deep, but it creates confusion. It doesn't decide how to live or decide what we can make a better choice. So if I say there is no free will, then you say, okay, I won't do anything. I'll just sit down, not make a choice. So it all these things, he says something more imaginary concept. He created on his own, illuminate free will, which feels like some wordplay, like some philosophical gymnastics that you do, you know. Then he came on negation, like what every philosopher do, they negate everything. So if say everything is on the table, constituting you and everything, then removing those simply by everything negating, the what remains on the table? Nothing. That is nihilism. And nihilism means no meaning life, no purpose. This is what most philosophers do, no? They give some logic, they analyze the reality, and many philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Nietzsche, they say God is dead. They say something doesn't make sense. It happens, just happens. So, and even our philosopher like Adi Shankaracharya has given Advaita philosophy, non-duality. And Buddha is given there is no permanent self. We are not I or anything. So everything just goes like people have their opinion. They start from the experience what they want to say. So at the end, if we listen to Acharya Prashant, what will happen to our psyche? Because everyday life is a challenge, right? If you listen to all these things, doesn't make a difference. So if you go to nihilism point of view, that there is no meaning, then what happens? It creates a chaos in your life. There is no order, and chaotic life means you cannot be happy, you cannot be have meaning. So eventually, your life is spent in some illusionary concept, and you're left with nothing. So this is not a good choice because instead these people will fall to lower basic instincts, lower basic natures. Pleasure seeking nature, and then wasting time on other things, then drugs and all those things can become an habit because life is meaningless. But what they miss, all those philosophers, that so-called philosophers, they reject something. They totally deny something. They don't acknowledge it that there is something else. What they do is they within the table, whatever they have understood, including everything, and they say, okay, understanding everything, they don't realize that they're missing something. What is that missing thing? Now, what is that missing thing? So I will give an example. Like in nature, if you go out in nature, there is an ecosystem. An ecosystem, plants are there, animals are there, and this uh, everything is there. Natural living being, non-living, they are forming an ecosystem. An ecosystem balances itself. That means there is intelligence which sees that where they have to compensate, where they have to manage things. So what I'm telling about is that most philosophers deny is there is higher intelligence operating not separate from us. But these philosophers think that there is something separate from our, there is nothing separate from our intelligence. Our intelligence is absolute, but they don't know our intelligence is limited. Higher intelligence, which operates outside our body and everything, even inside our body, they manage everything. Everything is managed. Creation, destruction. What we are just a subset, a small subset of that higher intelligence. We are limited in everything. Now, question is should be what is your body made up of? If you look at your body, it is made of calcium, iron, copper, and organic matter, inorganic matter. Now, this eventually organic, inorganic matter, you will say it is inherently non-intelligent, not that intelligent. But how can you say that? That if it is devoid of intelligence, then how can it all these things making you intelligent? It making you feel, it making you choose something. So that is one thing. Now I will give a small example which will make a clarity with free will and the destiny predestination. So how free will and destiny operates, like in small scenario, small life, routine life, where you choose what to wear, what to drink, where to go. These outcomes are within your reach. You know if I do this, the outcome will be this. And if you and you can also turn the outcome in your favor of yourself. You can turn also, but what you can do, this is a limited intelligence. Within limited intelligence, you know what is the outcome and how far you can change that outcome for yourself. But there is a limit. After that, you have no control. Within the limit, you have control. So intelligence is limited. That's why you have control. Outside the intelligence, there is no control. So there comes, in greater scenario, in bigger scenario, comes the higher intelligence, right? Destiny, fate that has been chosen for us. In that matter, if you like you cannot make a proper choice, say I will make those choice, then I will be competing in something and I will come first. No guarantee. So what you do is you make small choices daily to believe that the result will be in your favor. But it is not possible. Someone can be better than you. If you're going for competition, someone will come first, you make a second, you can third. So in greater stage, everything is set for you. Right? Everything is set by the higher intelligence for you. That's the point. Now I'll give you one more better example. Like life is a game, it's a game theory. So what do, you play a video game. In that video game you see, like for example Mario or GTA San Andreas, PUBG, you have different levels, right? Different scenarios, different tasks, and some adventure, some boss, some everything. So you have, like, I have to clear this level, again I have to clear this level, you go on. But on every level everything is set. Buildings are set, right? The NPCs, the other characters are set, then they interact with you. That's also something they have to say. So you get an experience in that game. You choose your experience. So you choose your level where I have to play. So what does higher intelligence do? It creates everything for you. Only you become a character in the game. So now a lot of people say that, like Acharya Parshant say, dissolve the ego, see the ego, and see your I, and go beyond the observer, question itself, negate itself. But what? Within the game theory, all these things, parameters of your psychology, I, ego, and ego death, liberation, suffering, that all comes within the parameter of the game. That is not outside the game. That is inside the game. Once you outside the game, it's like after death, there is a transition. After death, you just you have picked up a controller during the game. Now you have thrown the controller back to its place. So you have not playing any more game. So all those concepts of all this, seek yourself, think about yourself, do this, do that, will eventually have no, only pertains to the game, but outside it doesn't matter. So you don't create the game. Game is already created. It's predestined. You just choose the level. You align your experience with it. So what you can say is there is higher intelligence. Some people say it God. Some people say something called source. There is a source code. And how can you say that something is intelligence? Because it is interacting with you, interacting with your mind and with your emotions, right? With your frequency. So what is inside relates to outside. You create your own reality. Okay, for all that I have said must make things clear for you, and you can decide for yourself. So in this game you also choose your belief system. Choose a belief system that makes you happy. Thank you. Like and subscribe.